The Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has urged the United Nations Security Council to treat the atrocities by herdsmen as terrorist acts in line with the UN Security Council Resolution 2349 of 2017, which addresses Boko Haram's presence in the Lake Chad Basin and calls on all states to combat all forms and manifestations of terrorism. Executive Director of SERAP, Adetokunbo Mumuni, joins us now in the studio to talk more about this. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
You're welcome. And what effect do you think this call would have, since Fulani herdsmen have already been declared as the fourth most deadly group in the world, yet the Nigerian government doesn't see it so?
You see, the reason why we have more or less internationalized the issue is that the world is now a global village. Once a disturbance occurs repeatedly and persistently, and nothing is done about it, we may have much larger problem on our hands. And it is in order that that larger problem does not occur, that is why we make this call. You see, unless we want to start playing the ostrich, within the last, at least, let's say within the last 3 months, we have seen persistent killings of children, of women, of innocent people by herdsmen. I don't want to call them Fulani, because a lot of other people may also rear cows that are not Fulanis. Yes. That's why what we have seen so far, what we have heard, what we have perceived, is that this group of traders of some sort are becoming notoriously crooked in the way and manner they conduct their business. And we have seen within the last 3 months that the people who hold power at the federal level are not ready to name names.
I was going to say,
yes,
the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria,
yes,
seems to have a different view from what you're saying.
No, but
according to him, the issue that we have around is that of climate change, and particularly, don't blame the herdsmen, blame the weather, blame the climate change.
The weather don't kill. You see, the act of killing, the act of rape, the act of axing, there are matters within the Nigerian law that are criminal in nature. So why not let enforce the laws that we have in Nigeria? You understand? So we don't, the idea that the climate change are natural matters. But the act of killing cannot be natural. It must be deliberate act. Why is the president dilly-dallying about making a categorical statement about these herdsmen? Call them by their name, they are criminals. Take positive and concrete action against them. Bring them to justice.
But are you really holding your breath, really? Because yes, going by the New Year's speech,
yes,
and when the president was mentioning terror groups and then the different security challenges Nigeria is facing, he omitted the herdsmen. And by that alone, yes, you really think that anything decisive would be done?
You see, what we expect, you see, because we say the world is a global village, we don't expect the United Nations Security Council to keep quiet in matters that concerns Nigeria. Nigeria is a collaborator with the United Nations in peacekeeping all over Africa. Yes. Nigeria started this peacekeeping exercise as far back as 1960 in Congo. And when Nigeria goes out to do this exercise, it performs credibly well. So whatever concerns Nigeria must concern the United Nations, because in Africa, 1 out of every 5 Africans is a Nigerian. So we don't pray for any serious problem in Nigeria, but once Nigeria has problem and it goes out of hand, our population would overrun most of our neighboring countries.
What do you think the United Nations is waiting to see to take this call and some other calls, perhaps Syria? I remember now, Taraba said some clergymen also made a call, yes, to the United Nations on this. What do you think the Council is waiting for to hit to this call?
Let me tell you, I don't know what they are waiting for. It is that hypocrisy that I think surrounds the dealing of the United Nations with people in developing countries. You understand? When the matter involves the Syrian population, they took action. Only that the action had not achieved what they wanted it to achieve. But let them make a categorical pronouncement on this Nigerian situation.
Well, if you're calling United Nations out, what would you now say about regional blocs like ECOWAS and then the Continental Union like AU?
Good. You see, once the thing starts at the world level, you know, those are regional and sub-regional bodies, ECOWAS, the AU. Let the United Nations, as you see, the first
African leaders have been clamoring for Africans solving their own problems. So why not start at home first off? Recall what Nigeria and other West African countries did in Gambia.
Thank you. Because there is a resolution or a treaty that says no nation in Africa a government of no nation in Africa shall be changed by any other means except by election. That is existing on part of the laws or resolutions governing Africa. I don't see that pronouncement in terms of terrorist act or act of mindless violence that Herdsmen, I don't want to call them Fulani, Herdsmen have been perpetrating.
A good thing we now have a Nigerian as the chief judge of the ICC. Perhaps that could help?
You see, what we have seen repeatedly may lead us to ask for another, call on the United Nations to say, let us declare their action as a crime against humanity. It is when the thing becomes a crime against humanity that we can now start talking about the jurisdiction of the ICC.
But if this way isn't going, you can go through the back door.
No, let us experiment with this one first.
Okay.
You see, we know the various platforms that exist in matters like this, and we know where to start. But I want to say that the United Nations must be alive to its responsibility to Africans.
And with the knowledge of what we've been told by the DSS that these herdsmen are not even Nigerians and they are even members of ISWA, what should be the focus really?
Now, I don't want to say they are not Nigerians, but if they are not Nigerians, then what are the people at the borders doing?
Though the president said that Benue people at least should accommodate.
No, you see, you accommodate somebody that will not be moving around with AK-47. When accommodations was the aim thing, you don't see herdsmen going about with AK-47.
All right, let's perhaps the last question now as we wrap up this interview. Let's look at how the Nigerian judiciary might be culpable in this call that you're making. You remember when the Biafra group was going to be proscribed? Yes. It just happened ex parte, an ex parte motion, and it was proscribed and declared a terrorist organization.
Yes.
What's lacking? What's missing between then and now?
You see, when you say an application was taken ex parte, it means somebody moved the court. The court will not intervene until it is moved. Because you seek a prayer, based on the cogency and the merit of your prayer, the court will grant it. If the government of the can also do the same thing, it will be okay. But the court will not intervene until somebody applies to the court. And we are saying, if the federal government thinks an application to the court will do the magic, let them do it. But we want to say the United Nations should take prompt and bold step, make the declaration that we are saying.
All right. Adetokunbo Mumuni of SERAP, thank you very much for your analysis.
It's a pleasure being here.